we have the third and final piece of our series on Catholic Communications Pilgrimage to Ireland. Today, our group makes a few scenic stops, which include a visit to DUNLUCE Castle and Giant's Causeway. They were also able to experience the beauty and splendor of Northern Ireland, including St. Patrick's Cathedral there. And finally, a farewell to the Emerald Isle with folklore, fairies, and storytelling. Fathers Gary Dailey and Matthew ALCOMBRIGHT serve as our tour guides in this segment, produced by our senior videographer, Bill PACOCHA.
Hi, I'm Father Matt ALCOMBRIGHT.
And I'm Father Gary Dailey, and we're here for our third and final segment of our journey through Ireland, and we're here just north of Dublin at the Brú na Bóinne Visitor Center, which is the monolithic burial site which dates thousands of years before Christ. Day 8 of our pilgrimage, we traveled into Northern Ireland, and we did a bus tour of Derry.
It's a very different kind of scenery, but the people are just incredibly welcoming. You find that all throughout Ireland. That's the one thing I think that really unites everybody. And Northern Ireland is especially picturesque with the pastures and the farmlands. Just an absolutely beautiful area.
People really seen firsthand the troubles that existed in the north of Ireland, the battle between Catholic and Protestant, and the walls of Derry that are the only walls in Europe that are totally intact. I think the people were really impressed on the pilgrimage with the information that was given to us by our tour guide on that day.
The Bloody Sunday mural behind, which commemorates the killings that happened on these streets on the 30th of January 1972. They happened on your right where the red brick houses are, on your left where the cream apartments are, and on this road in between.
I left you alone with the group as I went off to visit my friends. Maybe you could say to us a little bit about what you saw on that particular part of the trip.
Sure, you left me alone with the group and we went to explore whiskey. That was the highlight of my day, and a highlight of the Pilgrim's Day was the Bushmills Distillery and Factory. And what a beautiful facility to see where this common whiskey, commonly drunk in the United States and all throughout the world, where it's all made right there. DUNLUCE Castle, just a beautiful picturesque spot. Some say the spot where the inspiration for the Narnia series came from for C.S. Lewis. It was a beautiful castle to behold right on the edge of a cliff, right out in the water. The Giant's Causeway was a great wonder of nature. We took about a 15-minute walk down to the ocean, to the Irish Sea, and looking out over the vast beauty of the ocean, you see the hexagon rock formations that are some of the only in the world, and it's undescribable. You don't know how it's formed, but just another piece of God's hand at work in creation, and for us to behold that great beauty.
So day 9 on our pilgrimage, off we are into Northern Ireland and on our way to Armagh, which is the primatial seat of all of Ireland, with the Catholic Cathedral of St. Patrick's and the Church of Ireland Cathedral of St. Patrick's, just literally 300 yards apart up on 2 different hills. We had a great treat when we were there, able to celebrate with the Primate Emeritus, Sean Cardinal Brady. Very cordial, very inviting, and wanting to engage in conversation. Just what a delight to be able to just speak to him about the Universal Church and Pope Francis, also the local church in Ireland.
When I was becoming a priest 50 years ago, a lot of people went to become priests, but now the priests have to be more courageous. It's countercultural. We live in a different era, greatly individualistic, consumer, all of that. But the church has come through tough times before, mass rocks and all of that. The Spirit is with us if we have the humility to acknowledge that and to know that we're not on our own.
We had a little lunch together in Armagh, and then off we were to Dublin. Day 10 of our pilgrimage up to St. Kevin's Monastery in that area of Glendalough dates back from the 6th century when St. Kevin built that monastic site, and many of the buildings from the 10th and 11th century that were there. Just a great place.
To see the life of the church at its beginnings, how the people would create these places of pilgrimage as we're on a pilgrimage, to come to these places where people of that time would journey to deepen their relationship with God and to be nourished and refreshed and to walk those grounds that were built so long ago.
What was impressive was to see St. Kevin's Church intact, the graveyard that we walked through, and still 2 people waiting to be buried in that cemetery, and then that cemetery will be closed forever in the sense of a burial spot and will just be forever remembered throughout the centuries. We made our way back up north to this spot of where we are now in the Brún and Bain Visitor Center, and here learning the ancient history. We looked at St. Kevin, which was back in the 6th century. This is way before Christ.
Absolutely, yeah.
Pretty amazing.
The Neolithic age. And it's impressive just to behold how these things just stay and to see over time the different groups that would take over these spots and care for them, including the Cistercian monks who would build a spot here and farm these lands. And so it's just a place that's somewhat ever-changing with the people who have cared for it, but something that's been preserved and taken care of up until this day.
We leave here, this very historic place just north of Dublin, and we wrap up our pilgrimage today with a visit to the Guinness factory dating back to the 1700s, making Guinness for people around the whole world.
To make beer, you need 4 ingredients: fermentable grain, water, hops, and yeast. Once you have that, it's pretty broad. You can mess around with that quite a lot.
Also our farewell dinner with the pilgrims and just some lasting memories that they'll have of Ireland.
The leprechaun. And nowadays very jolly, the little dancing leprechaun. Woo, welcome to Ireland, have a nice day, yeah? But back then he was seen as a darker, more mischievous character. It was said he'd been thrown out of the fairy world for being physically imperfect, and he wasn't too happy about this at all. And he took it out on humans at night time, leading them astray with drinking and gambling. Don't be out, at night time. The leprechaun will be waiting to lead you astray.
Well, thank you, Father Gary, and thank you all for joining us on this pilgrimage to Ireland. We'd especially like to thank Catholic Communications from the Diocese of Springfield, our videographer, Bill PACOCHA, who is joining us.
I'd also like to thank John Paul Pilgrimages for putting this pilgrimage together.
And all of you for tuning in to this pilgrimage coverage of Ireland.
God bless you.
God bless.
What a magnificent trip, and great job to the tour guides / pilgrimage leaders, Father Matt and Father Gary, and to Bill PACOCHA for editing down 10 days worth of video into just 3 segments.